Okay. Good afternoon, class. How are you doing? This is Mr. Liwanga back again. So today's lesson we are starting a new subject which we've not looked at from the time we started. We are now starting spiritual and moral education. Okay, social, spiritual, and moral education. So the first topic that we'll look at today is voyages of discovery. Voyages of discovery. So let's first define what is a voyage. Okay, what do you understand by the term voyage? So the term voyage refers to an expedition or journey or adventure. Are we together? Okay? It refers to an expedition, journey, or adventure. Okay? Habi wrote a book in 1988. States that voyage is a journey by water, especially a long one in a ship. Okay? That's a voyage. Okay? Europeans undertook these journeys mainly for the sake of exploration. Okay? Through different voyages, Europeans explored Africa and other places in the world. Okay? So, the desire for wealth was the main motives behind the voyages of discovery. Are we together? We are now looking at the motives behind of what? Behind voyages of discovery. So the desire for wealth was the main motive behind the voyages of discovery. Okay? Exploration, European traders and merchants aimed at benefiting from the trade of spices and the other commodities, especially from Asia. Okay? Europeans had rich resources in minerals, metals, so the new economic system of trade forced the emerging nations to look for precious metals. Are we together? So the European mineral deposits got exhausted and the economy was disturbed. So these voyages helped in boosting the European economy. Are we together? So let's now look at how these people were coming. Okay? How? There are many reasons that made them to come to take these voyages. The first was to spread the Christianity. The first reason was to spread the Christianity. So the desire to spread the good news or to spread the word of God motivated Europeans to explore to different parts of the world. Are we together? You know, when they knew, especially when they knew about Jesus Christ, you know, most of them, like here in Africa, you will believe that our forefathers, many of them did not know the word of God. So it was these missionaries who came to convert us Africans from our traditional way of living or worshipping to worshipping the God Jehovah and through Jesus Christ. Are we together? So the spread of Christianity also contributed to voyages of discovery. Are we together? They felt they had a God, okay? They had a God-giving duty, okay? To force them to change people to do what? To worship Christ. Are we together? So, apart from that, the other reason is improvement in technology. Improvement in technology. So advance in technology made the voyages of discovery successful and possible. Okay? So before the 14th century, it was not possible for Europeans to cross the other worlds. Are we together? It was not possible before the 14th century. So this was so because there were very few ships. Okay? For example, you know, if even here in our country, Zambia, we don't have a lot of ships. Okay? What we have when you go to these rivers, you find that most of the people who live near rivers, what they use to cross the rivers, they use canoes altogether. So even the Europeans, some time back before the development of technology, they never had these modern ships altogether. So through the development of these modern ships, this made the Europeans to undertake voyages of discovery altogether. Okay, so they never had good ones, so they could not move. Okay, so this was so for the European ships could not sail against the wind. Okay, so however in the 1400s ship made a new vessel which was known as the caravel. Are we together? A new vessel which was known as what? Caravel. Additionally, triangular sails helped them to sail successfully against the winds. So the use of compass and new advances in cartography and astronomy also contributed to this success. Are we together? So voyagers were guided by patron charts, okay, which provided specified ocean routes. So the sailors were also guided by coastal landmarks. Okay, so that was about the improvement of technology. Let's continue to Renaissance ideas and attitudes. Okay, so this had to do with man's curiosity and the motive to know other parts of the world. Are we together? So others moved just because they wanted to know what other parts of the world. Okay, so the voyagers had the willingness and the courage to learn and understand other parts of the world, and the explorers were driven by curiosity, the need for adventure, and to gain fame. Are we together? Okay, so we continue. Search for sea routes to India and other colonies also contributed to voyages of discovery. Are we together? It is very important to note that the major task of explorers was to find a direct route to India and East Africa. Are we together? So this was an attempt to get spices like ginger, okay, pepper, cinnamons, and other spices. Are we together? So these were mostly found in Africa as well as in Asia. Okay? So the main motive was to discover new places, okay, animals, people, and plants. Are we together? You agree that some time back these whites never knew that they are Africans. Okay? It was through the movements that they came to discover that there are people who have a black skin, not a white skin like them. Okay? So through these voyages of discovery, they came to discover a lot of things. Are we together? Okay? They discovered a lot of things because you agree that even the triangular slave trade, it came about because they came to discover that these Africans, when the first white man who came to Africa, okay, who came to visit Africa so that they convert Africans into Christianity. He was just moving, but he came to find that there are people. Okay, when he tried to interact with those people, there was no communication because he could not speak the language which they were speaking. Are we together? So what did he do? He got some of them and took them to Europe so that they go and train them to become what? Missionaries. But after those Europeans, because now they came to say that the black skin, they are very much powerful even when it comes to working manual or physical job. They turned those into slaves. Are we together? Has it not been for voyages of discovery, they wouldn't have discovered our nice continent, Africa. Okay? So, let's continue with the Portuguese voyages. Okay? Let's look at the Portuguese voyages. So the first Portuguese voyage that you look at is known as Prince Henry. Okay? Prince Henry became known as Prince Henry the Navigator, for he became interested in exploration of the world. Okay, so he was the son of King João. Okay, so the Portuguese started the voyages of discovery around 1418. Okay, so they began by exploring the Atlantic coast of Africa. Around 1419, Prince Henry sponsored these journeys. How to get it? So the people he sponsored included instrumental makers, ship builders, sailors, as well as astronomers. Okay, so the main motive of these men was to find a route around Africa to India. All together. So some of these men failed in their voyages. Instead, they involved themselves in trade in gold and slave around the West African coast. A number of slaves were brought to Portugal about 1444. Okay, so that was about Prince Henry. Are we together? The voyages improved in the 1440s. Okay, it improved in the 1440s with the introduction of caravel. Remember the ship that I've talked about, okay, which they made during the improvement of technology. Are we together? Okay, so by the time Prince Henry died in 1460, navigators had gone as far as Sierra Leone. Okay, had gone as far as Sierra Leone. At this time, Cape Verde Island were discovered. Okay, so let's move on to Bartholomew Dias. Okay, so after the death of Prince Henry, Bartholomew Dias suspected that there was a sea route around the ship of. Okay, so we've looked at Prince Henry. Now let's move a step forward and look at the other person who undertook these voyages of discovery by the name of Bartholomew Dias. Okay, so after the death of Prince Henry, Bartholomew Dias was suspected that there was a sea route around the tip of Africa. Okay, so he started off from Lisbon in August 1847. Okay, so Dias and his men were away for 16 months. However, despite that they were away for 16 months, they did not reach India. All together. So they rounded the Cape and the voyage took them longer than they expected. Okay? In 1848, Dias came back to Lisbon. He sailed round the east coast of Africa and passed through the Cape of Storms. Okay? Then Cape of Storms became known as the Cape of Good Hope. All together. The town that we call Cape Town today in South Africa is the one which was known as what? Cape of Good Hope. Dias could have reached India, but his men rebelled against him, and this compelled him to go back to Portugal. Okay, so that was the person that took the second voyage. Then the third one is the shortest man, known as Vasco da Gama. Are we together? So Vasco da Gama seemed to have taken over from Dias. Okay, he rounded the Cape of Good Hope in the 1490s. Okay, so he went as far as the Indian Ocean. Okay, it took him 2 years to return to Lisbon. He came back to Lisbon in 1499. Altogether, Vasco da Gama came back with a lot of spices. Remember, these people were looking for spices. So the next time that you meet again, we shall look at the Spanish voyages. Enjoy your studies and stay blessed. Bye-bye.